Sorry about that. I meant to have the show on like 20 minutes ago, but I've been having all kinds of issues with Kick for some reason. Not as bad as my Rumble issues, which I should have figured out hopefully soon. But anyway, today I thought we'd do something different. The weekend, I've been sick all weekend and not in the best of moods. I heard about some stuff that went on with the Charlie Kirk thing, but I don't want to get into it today. I might get into it later this week, but I can't. It's very sad and very discouraging, and X is just awful. Especially the Krasenstein brothers. But today we're going to do a Candace Owens content nuke from Mr. Nuxanor slash Nuxtaku himself. We'll see what Lord Nux has to say, and then we'll get into how I became aware of Candace Owens about, 10 years ago? So, let's see.
Hebrews and She-Brews, welcome to another video.
Hebrews
and today
and
we are getting
She-Brews.
canceled. Woo! That's right. You think I just go after libtards because they've been libtarded lately? No. I also go for the occasional retard on the other side of the pasture. That's right. No retards are safe from me. Today we're talking about Candace Owens, all right? So I know, I have a lot of Candace Owens fans in my audience, and I don't hate her. All right, this isn't me hating on her.
I don't hate her.
I am getting
I just think
really
she's
deep down the rabbit hole
terrible.
to talk about how, in my opinion,
I try not to hate
Candace
anybody.
Owens is completely dumb. I think she has 69 IQ on a good day. Today,
Giggity.
I will be looking into her support of self-proclaimed and convicted pedophiles, okay? Because audience captured, she's on that side of the spectrum. We will also be going through insanely wrong Jewish conspiracy theories that she's been posting unchecked. And also, we're going to talk about...
By the way, this is put out, was it 6 months ago? So this is well before Mr. Kirk got murdered. And she's been going on a tirade on X ever since. Which, if we have time, because this is pretty long, we'll go down that rabbit hole.
About how she thinks that dinosaurs are fake and gay,
Yeah.
and how the Earth is flat.
Literal quote.
And, guys,
Dinosaurs
you're
are fake and
literally
gay.
not ready for the amount of research I've done for this video. Unfortunately, I am the only one doing researches into political figures that get into trouble. Come on, some other people. Can you guys do it so I can react it? God damn it. All right, so anyway, this is Candace Owens. You will know her for having 4 million subscribers and a lot of views on her videos. Her most recent video is defending Andrew Tate, a self-proclaimed sex trafficker, rapist, pedophile.
Yeah, literally self-proclaimed on all those things. And I believe she's married to one of his best friends, which is one of the reasons she's been going down this whole thing.
As I have covered in the past. This is my most recent video. Andrew Tate is done. This is a video where I show without a shadow of a doubt that this dude is a self-admitted, self-proclaimed sex trafficking rapist pedophile, but she still defends him. I will cover it
And if
briefly,
anybody wants me to go
but this
down
will
that
not be
one.
the major talking point since I've already covered a big chunk of that in my previous video.
Hey, look,
I
another
just
thing
out
we're
here
gonna
making
go over
enemies with everyone
eventually.
I can. And anyone that says that I'm a grifter does not understand what grifting means, because I make enemies with everyone I could possibly find. So now, before getting into all the incredibly awful shit she's said and done, in my opinion, because she is
Any flat earthers in the audience?
captured, I think she's just falling down like
I find it interesting, but I also find it ridiculous.
Like
Just the
literally
Southern
at
Hemisphere
breakneck
blows the whole
pace.
thing away.
Unfortunately, I do my own research, and it's very annoying. I would way prefer someone else did the research and just shit it in my mouth like she tends to do. So first, I am going to make the claim that Candace Owens is in fact stupid.
If I ever get to the point where I can do this for a living, then I'll have a lot more time to research. But for now, I'm overworked and tired.
All right, now we will be backing this up with science. This is a clip where Candace Owens is not sure if the Earth is round or flat.
And a woman messaged me about the flat earth theory, which I had never looked into.
I love how
And she sent me all these
switches to
links.
a
She's like, you
round
need
guy.
to look into this, blah, blah, blah. And it's antithetical to the Bible and all of this stuff. And I saved the links, and I was like, I'm going to watch this later. And my husband...
The theory that the flat Earth or the round Earth theory, globe Earth theory, is antithetical to the Bible is retarded.
I was like, why even bother looking into this? And I'm like, because I'm just genuinely, I'm a curious person. So if someone thinks anything, I have to read it and know what they believe, because faith is what drives people ultimately. But then when I said to him, I said to him, because I don't know if the earth is round or flat or an octagon or anything. Science is obviously a faith.
I called it 2 weeks ago right here on this channel whenever she was denying the moon landing, and then she was also questioning dinosaurs, whatever that means. I said
We're getting to the dinosaur questioning in just a minute, guys. In just a minute, we are getting there. I hope you're ready.
wait, she will eventually adopt the flat earth view. And next up is going to be geocentrism.
Yeah, so get ready to cook, because I want to make the claim first that she's a dumbass before getting into the actual details, because when she says that she thinks about things deeply, I really want you to understand what I'm talking about here. Now, if this would be the only clip of her implying that she thinks that the earth might be flat, this really wouldn't be a big deal. Now, what I do think is funny is the fact that there are multiple clips of her promoting the flat earth theory.
Or he's like, what are you reading?
Now, and Nux, I know that I'm going to already have people in the audience saying, but Nux, why didn't you debunk the claims? All right, listen, if I would debunk every claim she'd ever make, we would be here for years, and y'all know that the earth is round, okay? You look into the sky, all the solar bodies are round.
If I can get at least 10 paid subscribers on either Kick or Twitch, I will dive into why the earth is round.
The earth must be the flat one. She also thinks that the earth, that the sun circles the earth instead of the earth circles the sun. Ain't no when ready for this when we are going.
And if you want, if again, and I can just even do a deep dive onto what flat earthers believe, because I do find it fascinating. Some of it's pretty cool, like the ice wall theory. I don't believe NASA has the funding for soldiers on the ice wall. Yeah, that's right. But we continue.
Full retard down this rabbit hole. I felt like instead of actually combating every opinion she has, the first thing I have to do is properly analyze her as a retard and then move into that shit.
And I feel like a regular wife says something, I don't know, maybe a love series, Nora Roberts, sweeping her away. Me, on the other hand, he rolled over, he asked me, and I said, oh, I'm reading a flat earth theory. And it dawned into an entire conversation. He's like, why are you reading a flat earth theory? And I'm like, because somebody messaged me on Manect about it, and they included some links, and I'm just reading them. I don't know, I'm just an interested person. No matter what, if there's a bunch of people that believe something, I now want to know what it is that they believe. And of course, he pushed me on this, and he was talking.
And I do the same thing. I find the things, especially things that are kind of silly things that are believed as far as mass appeal goes, I find it fascinating, which is why I know so much about flat Earth.
About the earth curvature and science, and I said to him, listen, I'm not a flat earther, I'm not a round earther. Actually, what I am is I am somebody who has left the cult of science.
She has left the cult of science, ladies and gentlemen. She is no longer
of course, because
a round earther,
she says,
like all you guys in the cult.
She says,
I have
science
left
is
the
fake
mega
and gay.
church of science, because what I have now realized is
I just want to say the Church of Scientology and science are two different things.
that science, what it is actually, think about it, is a pagan faith.
Science is a pagan faith, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you have cancer and you go to a doctor to cure your cancer based on scientific discoveries, you might just be in a pagan faith, guys. Nothing like the mega church of science to silence you. Now, Candace Owens is being very serious about this. In fact, she sent producers to Antarctica to research if the Earth is flat. Now, we haven't heard much about this because they went to Antarctica, and it turned out, nope, the Earth is not, in fact, flat. There was no giant ice wall, secret dome of the Earth. That turns out that wasn't real, much to everyone's surprise. How is science a pagan faith? This is what I am telling you. I want to paint this picture. She's an idiot, first and foremost.
Yes.
Then we are going to go down the rabbit hole of all the actual insanity. I did way too much research, and I have to share it with you guys because now you need to know all about this. Now, you might think that this was her worst take. You probably think her worst opinion ever, the actual dumbest take of all time, is the flat earth theory. You fools! The flat earth theory is genius compared to the dinosaur opinion.
you don't believe dinosaurs are real.
So this is a funny one. So this is one of the ones where I'm like, gut. I was like, dinosaurs? That seems pretty fake and gay.
Nothing quite as fake and gay as dinosaurs, am I right, guys?
Yeah.
Savannah's from Tennessee. She's like, I've never believed in.
First of all, for those of you born in the 80s and 90s, we all know dinosaurs are freaking awesome. Because if they weren't, those god-awful Jurassic World movies wouldn't make $1 billion each, even though they get worse and worse as we go. Dinosaurs are awesome. Literally everybody thinks so. For, well, 3 shitty movies, 1 serviceable movie, like $5 billion total box office. Like, come on.
Dinosaurs. Like, literally, this is, everyone thinks there's like some conspiracy behind it. Say they don't believe in God, but then tell them like dinosaurs aren't real and they fall apart. Like, I'm like, okay, so they're just roaming the planet. And I was like,
how gay of things roaming the planet? That's crazy.
That's really interesting. But then, because I got into and very much subscribe and believe and know to be true that there is a Christ conspiracy that's happening right now.
That's right. Dinosaurs, they're part of the Christ conspiracy, guys.
Now, which is the
By the way,
let
me
Christ
make this clear.
conspiracy.
Dinosaurs in no way debunk the Bible.
No.
Okay? In Genesis 1:21, it literally states in Hebrew, all right? That
like all Christians, like 90% of Christians believe that dinosaurs very well could have existed, because they expand their mind to wrap around to make leeway for science, and the fact that the first 7 days God created to make the heavens and the earth. Days don't mean days. Days are just set periods of time within that part of the Bible, which is the way it was explained to me by a very not kooky conservative Christian.
God created giant alligators, all right? Or however you want to translate it. In the English, they translate it as giant sea serpents or whatever. I don't know. But they literally, it's in Genesis 1:21. Also, because a lot of people think that this is some sort of crazy debunk, some sort of insane, crazy debunk or something. It literally says in the Bible that, and it was evening, and it was morning,
if you
and
think
that's 1 day.
dinosaurs are fake and gay,
and that's 2 days.
leave a
Like,
comment.
that's
If you think that they're
basic
not fake and
freaking
not gay,
Bible.
also
Guys,
leave a
the sun
comment.
was invented on the 4th
Hell,
day. How is it evening and then
argue
morning on day 1,
comments.
evening and then morning on day 2? There's no freaking sun. Well, the answer is it's metaphorical. Okay, so could we not come here and say that there's a
Okay, I was in fact wrong about the Jurassic World movies. They have made less and less money every time, but the first one made almost 1.7 billion. The second one made 1.3 billion. The third one made $1 billion, and the fourth one made just under $1 billion because China doesn't love us anymore. For all 4 movies, they have made just under $5 billion. So I was right.
Christ
People love
conspiracy and
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs are invented by Jews to make you stop believing in Jesus? Because we're getting down that rabbit hole.
intentional removal of Christ because they want people not to believe in God, but instead to believe in humans. Well, that is what evolutionary theory was about.
Evolutionary theory?
Yes.
The cult of science.
Because rather than making human beings believe that they had a creator, there was no concept of a dinosaur until 1850. That's
1850. That's when the concept of dinosaurs started. Why was it not?
Look, and if you want to argue that certain sciences are silly because you don't understand how they work or don't understand how certain people can find giant bones and then imagine what they look like and what their skin structure was based off of their bones, I completely understand that. We can have that argument. But to say that these giant bones are fake, created by the Jews, or gay, is retarded.
Not around before. Is it possible because science wasn't caught up yet to actually research the bones? Was that the bone is 600 million years old or whatever?
very
And
recent.
that.
And then within that same decade, they were like, dinosaur bones.
Whoa!
And they started finding them everywhere. I'm like, okay, so nobody found, and it is
Nobody found dinosaur bones until 1850, or maybe they did and they didn't know they were dinosaur bones. Retard. But anyway, lock in. It gets better.
case that dinosaur bones, for whatever reason, are always just found by the paleontologists. Like, it's not like you and me.
What a coincidence!
The people who are
Walking outside,
looking
like,
for a
hey,
thing are the only ones
it's
that
the
find a thing.
Dinosaur bone.
It's the paleontologists that keep finding dinosaurs. What a coincidence that paleontologists coincidentally are always the one that find dinosaurs. Now, what a coincidence that it's always the doctors that diagnose me with diseases. Every time I've been
only the
diagnosed
politicians
with a
that
disease,
make
it was a
laws.
doctor that diagnosed it. That's crazy. Meanwhile, for those of you sitting at home, every person that goes to a fucking beach finds trilobite fossils.
Yes.
Trilobites are ancient, many million of year old creatures that are long extinct before humanity was even wandering around. everyone finds trilobites.
Yeah, I mean, and this is not everybody, but it's not just paleontologists that find bones. They are the most likely ones to find them, but anyone who digs into the earth finds, well, not everybody, but it's happened. People who dig, hell, people who are digging to find, to start making new, sorry, my brain this morning. Buildings, people who are new construction projects. There we go. They've found dinosaur bones. People, basically anyone who has to go into the earth or anywhere where things are unearthed, like beaches and such, or any deep sea divers, they all find evidence of dinosaurs and other extinct species.
So, sorry guys, it's not just the paleontologists, and even if it was, this is the most retarded take ever. So, I just want to make it clear that she's an idiot before actually diving into the rabbit hole. I think it's very important to paint it this way. Look at this tweet. You can't even believe this is real. The older I get, the more absurd the concept of dinosaurs roamed the earth until a big meteor hit becomes to me. Oh my god! She is now denying the dinosaur holocaust. Anyway, this is crazy. Oh my god!
Look, this is why I love the internet. And before a journalist makes this a real headline. I mean, that's true. Look, at least she has a sense of humor about how she has really stupid takes, but still.
It's insane! She's an idiot! She's like an actual moron.
Yes.
Oh, look at this. She has other dumb takes that I just wanted to show a couple of them before getting into the actual meat and potatoes. Just because you have to understand she's an idiot, right? Candace Owens thinks that ISIS is an ally of the USA and Israel. Now, that probably sounds stupid, but let's read the tweets. Well, he was flying an ISIS flag, so we at least know he was an ally of the US and Israel. Sad, but true. Yes. No one quite as aligned with the United States and Israel as ISIS, the terrorist organization that says death to America and death to Israel. True investigative journalism, truly at the forefront of all of our minds. She has political opinions the likes of which you could never understand.
The only place... Well, no, that wasn't even ISIS. That was Al-Qaeda. I was going to say the South Park episode, but then I had clarity for a moment. Moving on.
She is playing four-dimensional chess. You just don't understand her moves. All right, so now this is the last clip just to show her like obvious stupidity. I want to just show you this final video to show her stupidity before getting into the meat and potatoes. Now, I think when it comes to the Russia-Ukraine war, there are a lot of very nuanced opinions a lot of people could have. Literally a lot of incredibly nuanced opinions. But no one's opinion is this nuanced.
Zelensky attempted to start World War III yesterday. He attempted the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand, right? He essentially said, where are you, NATO? Where
No evidence of that, by the way.
are you, America? Poland has been attacked, and we now must all be in allegiance, and we must size up and attack Russia today. And also, I want more money because I'm still the welfare queen of America. He did that.
Now, here's the thing. I don't love Zelensky. I'm making this clear, all right? I'm not trying to say that I oppose every opinion. I'm not, like, literally 150 billion% pro-Ukraine, send them all of our money, okay? I'm not saying that. But you have to lock in to see what her take here is.
He intentionally lied. He intentionally spread misinformation because he wanted the globe to react to his lies. And here's my personal take. He didn't act alone, right? We're supposed to believe that he acted alone, but no. Zelensky is just a bad faith actor, right? He's a real actor and a bad faith one. And I believe that what they...
Real quick. So on X, the Rolling Stone, you know, the pinnacle of news media. This is them at their best. This is supposed to be a music base. It's like MTV not playing music anymore. Rolling Stone. Charlie Chaplin was willing to mock Hitler. Colbert and Kimmel were willing to mock an American president with his own authoritarian designs. What will the rest of us be willing to do in order to stand up to fascism? Al Franken, formerly a comedian, now I think a disgraced politician, writes. This is retarded. I'm sorry. First of all, yes, Charlie Chaplin made fun of Hitler all the time, mostly because they shared a mustache. But now, if you wear a Charlie Chaplin mustache, will people call it that, or will people call it a little Hitler? I think you all know the answer. But what will the rest of us be willing to do in order to stand up to fascism? This is low-key incitement. This is horribly dangerous. Written by someone who's supposed to be a comedy writer originally, and a really shitty politician after that. But see, shit like this bothers me, man. Trump is a lot of things. He's not authoritarian. He's been suing news media outlets for defamation, not for making fun of him. I mean, I'm sure there's one out there where he might have gone past, but I haven't seen it yet. If it happens, shoot it to me on X. But this is ridiculous, man.
Attempted yesterday was a false flag attack, and I believe that he did this because he was instructed to do this, and I am wondering to what extent the
yes.
West was in on this.
The political analysis of someone that thinks that dinosaurs are fake and gay.
To what extent perhaps even our own intelligence agencies were in lockstep saying, here's how we're going to do it. Here's how we're going to convince the public that we now have a reason to join this effort, not just by proxy, by sending weaponry and sending billions of dollars of cash on hand to help Ukraine, but also giving them a moral and emotional reason to believe that we should be involved. So yes, that is what's happening. You have people in power that are attempting to legitimize starting World War III.
All right.
The
Legitimize.
only way we're going to prevent it is by continuing to share information and continuing to have the courage to call out Zelensky for what he is.
All right.
Right? I've said it once. I've said it twice. I
Okay.
keep saying it. He is a dirtbag. And I will also say the reason that I prefer...
You ready? Lock in! Lock in! I needed you to have all the context so that no one can say that I took her out of context. I showed you this whole clip because I know the defense is always, but you took her out of context. No one's doing me on this one. All right? No one is doing that to me on this one.
No, definitely not.
And
this here, sorry. I gotta say, the Krasensteins have to be the most idiotic people on Twitter or in any news sphere. The National Guardsmen in D.C. have cleared 1,022 bags of trash, spread 744 cubic yards of mulch, removed 35 truckloads of plant waste, cleared 6.7 miles of roadway, and painted 270 feet of fencing at the cost of $530 per guardsman to U.S. taxpayers. Why not pay homeless people 1/5 of this to do these low-skill jobs? First of all, why are the National Guardsmen doing that? Put that in here somewhere, Krasenstein. And secondly, if the guardsmen are doing it, likely they're looking for something in particular or fixing something because they're probably some kind of military whatever. But the military do this on their own post, so doing it in the streets is just fine. But if you know why they're doing it, particularly them, as opposed to, like, are they looking for something, clearing out all these, like, have they cleared them, or are they looking for something? I don't know what any of this means, but I'll come back and look forward. But you don't pay homeless people to do it because, one, as someone who's hung out with a lot of homeless people when I was stationed in Hawaii, a lot of them don't want to, and a lot of them can't because they're horribly addicted to drugs so they can forget that they're homeless.
I will also say the reason that I prefer a Vladimir Putin who doesn't pretend to be a nice guy. We know he's a villain. Vladimir Putin at least will look you in the face and say, here's what I want. I am a villain, right? Compared to Zelensky, who pretends to be a good guy, but is also a villain. These are two villains that are operating differently. Zelensky is doing a leftist strategy. Zelensky is pretending that he cares about LGBTQ rights and BLM and just wants to be in partnership with everybody, right? He's the James Corden character, right? Love, love, fun, fun. Everybody sing along to these tunes.
Yes.
But also secretly I yell at waiters on my own because that's how I am. I'm actually not a nice guy at all.
Yeah, so she prefers Putin, the dictator.
Look at that
the
face.
Fucking murdered millions of his own people. Listen, whatever. You don't even need 1,000,000,000% of context, okay? You don't.
He's a bad guy because he yells at waiters. Look, I got no love for Zelensky, but just hearing her talk about it, it's somehow less articulate than me talking about things. And I am a dipshit loser who has like 5 followers.
It's insane. It's absolutely unbelievable. Listen, again, not big super Zelensky guy here, but anyway, I wanted to get you up to date with the insane Candace Owens takes that makes her really seem like an idiot. I think she's just genuinely dumb. So now that we've established that she's dumb, recently, Andrew and Tristan Tate, 2 self-proclaimed, in my opinion, sex criminals, all right, sex traffickers and all that shit, all right? Here's a thread of basically Andrew Tate proving that he's a human trafficker, admitting that he's a human trafficker. Here's him admitting to being a child groomer. Here's him just lying. Here's him branding his victims with Tate tattoos. Here's him scamming his audience and his fans. Here's him getting Vivian to make sex games when she was 15 years old. And here's him just straight up admitting to being a rapist.
Am I a bad person? Because the more you didn't like it, the more I enjoyed it. I loved how much you hated it. Turned me on. Why am I like that? Why?
Whilst we were having sex, he put his hand on my throat and strangled me until I lost consciousness.
Anyway, the point is, this guy's not a good guy by literally any means ever. He's just genuinely a not good guy.
That, and he wants you to subscribe to him instead of subscribing to other women online, like OnlyFans people. It's not nearly as bad as what was just said, but he's kind of cucking guys in a different way, as well as being horrible to women.
All right, so this incredibly not good guy, again, I've already covered this in the last video. I'm not tread ground already. If you want to see the Andrew Tate, Candace Owens connection shit, you could look there. But not good guy, self-proclaimed sex trafficker, rapist, pedophile guy. All right, and this is his own words in this video describing how he coerces women to cross borders. Nux, you're taking Tate out of context. I had a video on him. I'm not tread ground already. So this is Candace Owens immediately.
Look at I love Tate the stop face on all of Candace Owens' videos.
Started investigating.
By the way, if we're going to speak about getting rid of pornography, the very last people we should be worrying about is Andrew and Tristan Tate.
Wait. So, she thinks that the only reason why they're looking into Andrew and Tristan Tate is for pornography reasons. Not because, you know, he's a self-proclaimed sex trafficking pedophile.
No, right? No, of course.
So far, an interesting take. Now, you're probably wondering, where is she gonna take this?
Okay, let's talk about Pornhub. Like, really, guys.
The Jews! Let's talk about the Jews! Now,
yes.
there is this sex trafficking criminal who also hates Jews, by the way. Sex trafficking, rapist, pedophile guy, whatever, that guy. We don't need to talk about him, all right? Let's talk about the Jews, because there are some
that's where
Jews
Candace Owens
that
always
are
takes
invested
it.
in porn companies.
The Jews.
Crazy.
She thinks the Jews
I love how
did
she
it.
literally makes this turn every time. Now, this is a clip. You ain't gonna believe this one. All right, so Andrew Tate gets to America and immediately gets on Candace Owens' show. And Candace Owens, are you ready, guys? Are you ready, dude? Are you ready, guys?
I want to be very clear. I ran every conservative circle that you can think of. You name a conservative influencer, I have been at that dinner party. I have been in that conversation. I have been on that network, you know, whether it is as a guest. Nobody had an issue with you.
Right.
Okay, despite your case going on. And
so, by the way, this is bullshit. People did have issues with him. All right, there is never.
Yeah, people have always had issues with the Tate brothers. And sorry, I was just noticing she's covering up the brand of the laptop with pictures of herself. This is a very open window into the soul of Candace Owens. Continue.
Been a video of Ben Shapiro defending Andrew Tate. Never.
No.
Okay? Like, you gotta stop with these lies. You've never seen a video of me defending Andrew Tate. Okay? It's just as stupid examples.
Till you hopped on to Piers Morgan on October 9th and said that you were pro-Palestine and called it a genocide. I watched overnight.
Right.
Overnight.
Yeah.
They went from,
good theory.
Okay, he's fine.
Yeah.
You can talk to Andrew Tate. Everyone wanted to, like, know Andrew Tate.
Yeah, so anyway, again, I have covered this in the past, so I really don't want to get into...
There were a few people that were interviewing him, mostly people like Candace Owens, that were interviewing Andrew Tate for some reason. I don't know why he blew up. The same reason I don't know why a lot of people blow up who I know are horrible people. Hassan Piker. But it's absolutely bewildering to me. Or Fresh and Fit. I'll never understand why people will interview him when he's not that far off from this guy.
I don't want to get into like literally all of the insane
mostly
details.
fit,
You've never seen
fresh
someone
and
defend
fit,
Andrew Tate. Well, look at
Myron.
Candace Owens. She's defending Andrew Tate. She is a conservative, religious Christian, all right? Religious Catholic Christian defender of the sex rapist pedophile, in his own words, in my opinion, based on my subjective understanding of what he literally admitted. So her argument here is they're not investigating him because he's on camera admitting to being a sex trafficking rapist pedophile. She is arguing that the only reason why people are upset at him is because he hates Jews. She is blaming the Jews. That the sex rapist pedophile, in his own words, according to my perspective, I could be wrong, allegedly. All right?
Yeah,
that's
no,
what's happening here.
Another reason people hate a person is not the only reason they hate someone. It's just like, oh, he does all this other stuff, and he also hates the Jews. That's what's going on here, like very clearly.
Yes, it's the Jews' fault. Good point, Candace Owens. Hell yeah, Candace Owens going crazy. So anyway, here's another video for defending Andrew Tate, the sex rapist pedophile, in my opinion.
Fast forward to today, and I see these allegations of him being a rapist, human sex trafficking, whatever in Romania.
Allegations, she calls them.
Yeah, allegations that he himself has said while being recorded.
Yes, I also call them allegations. Good point. Crazy allegations.
To scale their business, and to scale their business, they're extremely business.
How about this one?
London, Bucharest, Moscow, anywhere I am, I just say Bucharest ? Or Moscow ? Or London ? Sometimes, because like I said, intrigue, I'll put a completely pointless emoji on the end.
Right, this is him talking about how he recruits 15-year-old women to start doing sex work for him while he acts as their pimp crossing countries. That is what he is explaining in his video. Again, I've covered this in the past. He explains his strategy for how to properly traffic women, from my understanding. Candace Owens goes on the podcast and is like, whoa.
Fast forward to today, and I see these allegations of him being a rapist, human sex trafficking, whatever in Romania. And my take on this is that I do not believe that Andrew Tate is a rapist. I don't. I think that.
Again, it's so funny because it's like, it's right here. It's right here.
But he was still having sex with me when I kind of came back around again.
I am one of the most dangerous men on this planet. Sometimes you forget exactly how lucky you were to get by me. Would you rather me pin you down and make you do things you didn't like, or would you rather you didn't like that I was thinking I can do?
Anyway.
That's
I don't want to harp on this point too much.
That is what people like to accuse men of when they're trying to take them down.
Yes, it's a giant silencing campaign. People are trying to silence Andrew Tate by accusing him of being a sex trafficker, even though he also admits to sex trafficking, in my opinion.
Right. Do I believe that Andrew Tate is exactly what he tells us that he is in his videos when he talks about women and he says that he thinks that women should be subservient to men, and that in his relationships he says that he has tons of children, and that he says that in his relationships he expects to be...
Now, when he says he has tons of children, is he talking about lineage, or is he talking about... Never mind.
More dominant one. I'm paraphrasing here, but Andrew Tate is not hiding exactly who Andrew Tate was.
Except he literally is.
And
I mean, now he calls himself a Muslim, and he's literally, during Ramadan, drinking and partying and gambling in casinos. Yeah. Like, literally right now.
Always has been, and clearly he communicated exactly what it was.
And notice, for those of you who know who Sneeko is, notice how after Tate converted to Islam, so did Sneeko, and they're both freaking idiots. They literally converted for clout because they still do all the horrifically non-Islam things that they've always done. The religion of Islam isn't that different from Christianity and Judaism. They just have different prophets, and then once you get past the first 5 or so books, I think it is, they tend to skew a bit. But the overall message is mostly the same with variances. And then, of course, Judeo-Christianity has been a force to evolve over time, but let's continue.
Whatever it was that he does in Romania to my assistant, giving her the option.
Sorry,
maybe
not
she
evolve,
wants to
liberalize.
Join. For all I know, maybe in Romania.
For context,
that can be
Andrew
evolution
Tate in
or
Romania went to
de-evolution,
Candace's
depending on
own
your point of
assistant
view.
and offered her to become one of his sex girls. And she is describing this as, he's upfront and open and he's cool.
Which may be perhaps the reason he moved to Romania. Whatever he was doing, being a modern Hugh Hefner, is legal.
He's not a modern Hugh Hefner.
No. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're way different.
He's a modern Jeffrey Epstein. Okay,
Yeah,
which
there
she
you go.
hates, obviously, because, you know, Jews and stuff. We're getting to Epstein. Don't worry, guys. So,
Epstein, who
anyway,
she hates
the
because
craziest
he's
thing is,
Jewish.
and I showed this
Not
little
because he's
clip
a horrible
in my last
person,
video, but it's a
but
1-minute clip from
Jew.
Willie Mack's video, and I thought it's incredible. So, you gotta watch this shit, and then we're gonna close the book on the Andrew Tate shit.
Is Candace Owens, because Tucker can at least claim ignorance. Candace, on the other hand, reads the Tate's civil lawsuit where they're trying to silence the victim and chooses to side with the pedophile.
Yeah!
Gabby, first I'll tell you who she is according to the Tate brothers.
According to the Tate brothers, let's
This is her channeling Hillary Clinton during the Bill Clinton trials of the 90s.
believe let's believe the Tate brothers.
Is suing her.
Why would anyone take their word for it? They supposedly trafficked her.
Emma Gabby is a predator who has a long history of baiting men into sexual relationships
They're talking about a 15-year-old, by the way.
for the specific purpose of destroying their lives.
Right.
She has a chain of victims going back several years to when she was
Right.
a minor.
Oh.
Oh, she realized. She even stumbled over her words there.
She was a minor.
Yeah.
Candace is framing the teenage girl as the predator. And
Yes,
she's siding with
yes.
5 pedos, 4 of which knew and continued to be with her. What the fuck? This is the Daily Wire. Aren't these people saying we need to protect the children? Look out for Candace, bro. She's siding
which
with
is why
pedo.
she
She's a psycho.
eventually
She's
got
crazy.
shit
Drug
canned.
addicts.
The first case involves a man who I am not going to name in the
Why aren't you going to name him? Because you're defending him?
only reason I'm not going to name him is because at the time of the allegations against him, Emma was in fact a minor.
She is not naming the guy because he's
Yeah. When stuff like this happens, you're supposed to not name the victim, not name the abuser.
a
What the
pedophile.
fuck?
That's what she's saying here, all right? Now, I'm not going to name the guy because he's a pedophile.
And that, of course, is relevant. So we just want
Yeah.
to be ethical here.
She's protecting a convicted, locked-up predator's privacy while slandering the victim. Have we gone insane?
The guy's in jail, by the way. This isn't like an alleged
Yeah.
pedophile. This isn't like
pedophile.
allegedly, maybe, there are accusations. The guy is in jail for being a pedophile, and she is defending him and not saying his name so no one could look it up.
She then says she doesn't want people looking up the case.
And not expose his name so people
she'll
can
say
look
her
up
name.
the case because at the time.
And they don't want you to know his name because if you look this case up, you're going to see that she clearly did not frame him.
This guy's name is Yoga Fox or Keith Fox. 2 underage girls. He was caught on video doing it. She wants to hide this information from you because it makes her look awful. She's protecting the Tates.
Literally.
The full video.
Not even exaggerating. But again, I don't want to go down the Tate rabbit hole. Turns out that Andrew Tate and Candace Owens' husband were best friends for like many, many years. This is an entire thread documenting the friendship between Andrew Tate and Candace Owens' husband.
Sorry. South Park putting out there. Matt Stone of South Park tells Denver Post that no one censored us in response to the September 17th delay of South Park's episode. We just didn't get it done. When you cut it close, sometimes you mess up. That's the price of being a procrastinator. So, look, say what you want. Matt Stone and Trey Parker aren't necessarily the guys who toe the line. Me jumping to a Twitter post, I apologize. They aren't necessarily guys who toe the line. So if they say something happened a certain way, they're some of the very few people that I actually believe because they don't care about studio notes. They don't care about what the studio has to say about what they do and say in their personal lives or interviews. They've always been this way. For conservatives and liberals, saying that this was done because of the Charlie Kirk thing, I'm sure they feel bad in some regard. But they would argue, just like I would, that Charlie Kirk really liked that South Park episode and thought it was an honor. God. And look, dude, like that would be it for me. If I was ever featured in a South Park episode, like that's an achievement in of itself. That means you're socially relevant enough for them to mention you. They know who you are, and they parodied you. And he loved it. That's one of the reasons it's hard for me, because a lot of Christians and conservatives and such, and just people in general, it doesn't matter what side you're on, if the people who have been parodied in South Park lose their freaking minds, but not Charlie Kirk. He got it. And even if he didn't get it, he at least understood enough to not publicly freak out about it. Either way, mad respect. A man who was self-aware enough to at the very least not freak out about a parody of himself. people on either side can't do this, and that's just it kind of shows you the kind of guy he seemed to be. And if anyone brings up any of his out of context quotes, follow me on Twitter.
Suspicious
X.
that she's out there defending him every time he can. Definitely weird. Absolutely. Trying to strike a chord, and it's definitely A minor. But again, don't want to get too deep into the Tate. This is Andrew Tate's tweet, his own tweet, where he describes how Epstein had access to pussy. Look at his friends list, and then describes himself the next best thing to being me is knowing me. He's basically, literally, talking about how this dude is like the next Epstein.
To know
like,
me
it's a good
is
thing.
to be me.
Anyway, I don't want to get too deep down this rabbit hole. Don't you worry. Now, guys, lock in.
Oh, God,
because
imagine
now
that.
we are going to be talking about Jews. I mean, we sort of were already talking about Jews.
Candace
We got more
Owens
Jews
and
to
on
do,
the
because
Fresh
according
and Fit
to Candace
podcast.
Owens, everything bad that happens in the world, it's all Jews. All of it.
Now we're unearthing everything. Now it's like, okay, let's revisit what Michael Jackson was saying. Let's revisit what a bunch of people in the industry have been coming out saying, that there's like some sort of a ring that's happening. But every time those people speak out, you're wacko Jacko, you're, crazy Kanye.
Yeah, Kanye's crazy because of the Jews controlling Hollywood. That's why Kanye's insane, because the Jews are controlling Hollywood. All right, I already showed you this. I already showed you this one. Oh, but dude, are you ready? Oh, you're not ready.
For a very long time tried to convince us that Stalin and Vladimir Lenin were anti-Semitic, and then I learned, wait, Stalin was married to...
Yes, they were literally a part of the Jewish cabal. That
Stalin, the guy that murdered so many Jews, he's part of the Jewish cabal.
Stalin was part of the
talking
Jewish
about?
cabal.
And
When I talk about crushing history, where if you even say that, which I'm saying it, because
I love they all do this. It's like, I am saying something so dangerous. I could be killed by saying this, so I am going to broadcast myself saying this.
Looked into it, and I found a friend who understands Georgian, and they're like, everybody knows that Stalin was Jewish. And
Stalin wasn't Jewish. She's literally just...
I just want to point out, like, I know she was probably famous at the point of doing this, but they're clearly doing this in a hotel room with probably at least some lighting and film equipment. To work at a hotel like this and see people obviously going up there to do a quote-unquote interview, but being like, anyway.
lying about how one of the biggest dictator murderers, psychopaths, just calling them Jewish to just literally just blame Jews for everything. This, by the way, is Tristan Tate, Andrew Tate's sex trafficking brother in crime.
And I'm like,
but
Americans don't know this.
But Candace, they were the good guys. They helped us defeat Nazi Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Did he just call her Candace? Hold on. Okay, it's 45.
Brother in crime.
And I'm like, Americans don't know this.
But Candace, they were the good guys. They helped.
Yes. Oh, yes. Candace. We're talking to Candace Owens. Yes. It's quite classy, don't you see?
Just defeat Nazi Germany.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah, right. Stalin
Candace.
he was like, you gotta be special retard. Special retard
that Candace
to
is
think that
pronounced
Stalin
Candace?
was Jewish.
The good guys. They were on our
Murdering
team.
Christians.
Oh, 100 million
and
people. That
no
doesn't matter.
paths.
That
No.
doesn't.
Yeah, 100 million people died when were killed by Stalin. Stalin was a monster, right?
Yes.
But anyway, they're gonna just say that he's Jewish.
Now, I will say of all the people in his regime, I think he was probably the worst of the option of Lenin and Trotsky. But they were pretty monstrous in their own rights too. But Stalin, God, I think I might start doing the oversimplified videos for a weekend show. But just the deep dive on history that even the oversimplified guy does on YouTube, it's fascinating seeing how like Stalin came to power. Because he started off as nothing. He was like a mailroom guy, and he ended up running the whole fucking country and killing all of his opposition. And it was simply because of the place that who was the overall guy? Was Lenin? Was Lenin the main guy, and Trotsky and Stalin, or was it Trotsky and then Lenin and Stalin? Were I can't remember, but yeah, the guy who was his boss put him in a position to basically decide who does what job. And then he took over the country because he knew everybody, and they all felt they owed him their jobs in particular. It's crazy. I might do a deep dive on that as well.
Matter. 100 million people got murdered. No. They're on our team. They're the good guys. That's what the history books say. And saying it gets.
And look, I don't want to be a complete idiot, but if you just type it into the AI, was Stalin Jewish? Nope, Joseph Stalin not Jewish. Pretty basic. The question sometimes arises due to misinformation, conspiracy theories, or confusion with other historical figures. This is like incredibly obviously bullshit, but they just say it. They'll just say this shit.
It gets into the question of the media who...
They just straight up come out and say that, yep, he was...
Because if they ever actually hear anything, then they'll believe it if it's against the Jews. And then if people tell them that it's fake, they'll just say that the Jews covered it up, and that's why it's not the most broadcast, it's the most broadcast version of the story.
Jewish, and she follows up by like defending her posts, and then of course you have the community note saying, yo, he was not Jewish and he was responsible for the death of millions of Jews. This is like actually retarded, and she does this to frame Jews as every bad guy in history Jewish, literally. Now she was just on Theo Von.
And people are like, oh, why'd she get fired from the Daily Wire?
Theo Von is a pretty massive podcaster.
I'm sure we all know why she thinks she was fired from the Daily Wire. Because Jew.
It's pretty crazy, to be honest. He's recently had two pretty
She's like skinny black
anti-Semitic guests
Cartman.
side by side, Candace Owens and Hassan Piker. Far left anti-Semite and a far right anti-Semite. It's pretty crazy. And you've got to hear this. Like, you can't even describe this shit. Oh my god.
Like, well, why do you...
This, by the way, this is a clip from 2 days ago. Theo is funny. He's not too bright. I just think Theo, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He didn't research this shit. He's going to ask her. She's like, people like her. No one's made this video that I am making right now. Well, I am doing something that no one actually put together. I don't hate Theo Von, by the way. I don't dislike him. I think he just doesn't know. And Candace is going to sit there and explain to him the most unhinged conspiracy theory of all time. And he's just going to be like, whoa, bro, that's crazy, dude.
You think there's such a strong relationship between the two countries there?
Right. Why is there a strong relationship between the United States and Israel? He says. All right. Now, there are many answers to this question. I could give you 10 off the top of my head reasons why Israel and the United States are allies. Two Western nations. They help each other out. They're both anti-terrorist. They're very anti-terrorist. The terrorists that want to kill the Jews also want to kill the Christians. The terrorists that want death to Israel also say death to America. I mean, they're a proxy of America in the Middle East. Like, there are a bunch of reasons why there are some actual friendships there. Anyway, he asks Candace Owens, why is it that the United States and Israel are allies?
Blackmail.
That's the response. Blackmail. Wait, what do you mean by blackmail? That can't be the whole answer that you give, can it, Candace Owens?
I think blackmail, and I think this is the reason why we don't get to open the Epstein files, we don't get to open the JFK files, and I think it's a form of...
Right, she's implying that the Jews killed JFK, and Epstein was a secret Jewish agent that was getting blackmail on people.
Gaslighting us to pretend that our special friend and ally isn't just a... and by the way, parking aside America, other countries too. You investigate anything. I mean, I'm investigating Brigitte Macron, and Israeli blackmail comes up in Morocco.
You think the Jews are just blackmailing the U.S.? No. The Jews are blackmailing everyone. They're blackmailing France. They're blackmailing Morocco. By the way, I love how everyone does this shit. But if you actually just pay attention, even for like just a small minute, do you know that the Jews blackmailing Morocco is like... I'm just gonna let the AI talk for me because I can't even deal with this shit. Yeah, right now there's 2,000 Jews in Morocco. 50 years ago, there were 25,000. All right, so let's do this again because I just want you to get the rundown, all right? Let's say compared to 100 years ago. All right, so 100 years ago, there were around 250,000 Jews in Morocco. You're telling me that the Jews are blackmailing the country that ethnically cleansed them and wiped out 99% of the Jews in the country? Like, really? Like, really? She's not investigating. She's not asking questions and going deep. She is explaining to some guy, Theo Von, who doesn't actually know anything about this, because I don't think he's ever researched this. She is explaining to him that the Jews are controlling the world by blackmailing every country on the planet. Like, this is her response to why are the U.S. and Israel allies.
Israeli blackmail comes up, and so to pretend that we don't know that Israel is involved in blackmail operations is foolish. And again,
I think all countries are probably involved in them.
And I think that they have been like they have gotten it down to a science, and there's no question in my mind.
The Jewish science of blackmail.
That like sexual blackmail is what Jeffrey Epstein was involved in, and I don't know if that means these people don't know when they go to these parties that the girls are underage, and then it's like, haha, we've got you on tape, whatever it is.
So she's saying that Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking parties were to get famous people to sleep with children so that they can get blackmail on them so the Jews can control the world. This is all an answer to why are the US and Israel allies. This is her response. This is a video posted 2 days ago on Theo Von's podcast.
And we can
2
even,
days
we can
ago,
look at the
but
Diddy
this video
case,
is
you know,
from 6 months ago,
blackmail,
so.
these little
Yeah, how are you going to twist the Diddy case into being Jews?
Don't say twist the
literally,
Diddy.
how? How are you going to twist that into being Jews?
these powerful blackmail operations
He's black and he's a male. Other than that,
are definitely operating. And
I love how she thinks that this is like this is the logic, and not just you have these rich, powerful fucks that are incredibly despicable and evil pieces of shit.
And that's actual blackmail,
yeah,
too.
it's true blackmail. I mean, if you have hidden cameras and
Theo Von, he's like scratching his head. He's like, yo, this is crazy, because she says it like there's evidence.
And look, Theo, he's a great comedian. And he's very empathetic and just he seems like a genuinely nice guy. He's not the kind of guy to call people out on ridiculous stuff. He'll have like something where you'd be like, "Whoa, Theo," every now and then, but like he doesn't like conflict. It doesn't seem like. So he'll just sit there and be like, "Oh, wow, yeah, what? No."
There's no evidence to a single thing she just said. I think it's important to note, there is not a shred of evidence to anything she said. I went down this rabbit hole, by the way, myself, trying to find it. The only evidence is that Jeffrey Epstein has a friend whose father worked in British and Israeli intelligence. That is the only evidence. There is, and that's not even evidence. That's just like, I mean, you could say it's a coincidence, you could say it's an idiosyncrasy, but that you can't say more than that.
you're capturing people doing drugs and sleeping with underage people. So I think these are blackmail operations, and I think they've been going on for decades in America.
Speaking about Epstein, right?
Yeah, so that's the response.
Right. How do you know he's not just a Jewish guy who was being perverted or whatever?
That's a pretty good question.
And that he was doing business. Like, there's no real connection that he works for Israel, though.
Well, he had passports.
Guys, he had passports.
Yeah, so, and then it's also his top.
This is the conspiracy theory.
Ghislaine Maxwell, Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell. The whole Mossad attended his funeral. He died in very weird circumstances.
He worked for British and Israeli intelligence. This is not evidence that this was a sex trafficking blackmail ring. And I love how she says she has passports. Let me tell you something about Jews in general. I'm going to blow the lid for you guys. You guys are going to be cooked in just a minute. I also have passports. I know, pretty Jew moment. But here's another pretty crazy Jew moment. Get ready. Are you ready, guys?
Does this mean all
Are you
Jews
ready?
have passports?
Most Jews have literally been kicked out of the countries that they were born in, so they could get passports from tons of countries because they were fucking murdered and chased out of different countries.
Also true.
Okay, I have cousins that actually decided to get Polish passports
too.
because,
I'm
you know,
not Jewish.
their grandparents were in Poland when the Holocaust happened and they had to leave. I have cousins that have Polish and American and Canadian passports and Israeli passports. That's a lot of passports. But it turns out it's really not that weird. It's not that weird for Jews that are kicked out of different countries.
I don't think even
That is true.
people
Most Jewish
who
people don't really
are
have a
pro-Zionist would deny that he was obviously
a country of
Israeli
origin
American
anymore.
intelligence.
It's really sad.
I'm not denying it. You know what? It even could be true. It even could be true. I have no idea. But neither does she. I have no clue, and she doesn't either. She's just saying shit with no evidence.
And he had weird passports. I mean, he had like a Saudi Arabian passport, an Israeli
that's so
passport,
weird.
an American passport.
That's so weird. You know, every Jew could get an Israeli passport. Every Jew on the planet could get an Israeli passport, by the way. That's not weird, and it doesn't connect you to the Mossad.
Oh, he's perving then.
And yeah, and under different
That's
names,
the
by the way.
perv
He had
circuit,
working passports of these different countries with different names. You can't just get that. You know what I mean? You can't just get these passports.
Anyway, again, I think he was in shady
Look
shit.
at that
He's a
hair.
multi-billionaire. He's dead. Multi-billionaire, perverted piece of shit. And
Yeah.
I think no one's denying any of this. Now, the crazy thing is, this
As
is literally
most
her. I can keep
multi-billionaires
going.
are.
She keeps explaining how Israel's
The
blackmailing
intelligence services.
people
And it was never made clear why he was so rich. So who was giving him all that money? Was this like black ops, our time?
Who was giving him the money? I don't know. He's literally providing criminal pleasure for billionaires. How is he rich?
Tax dollars going to give him this illusion of wealth and power so that he would party with all of these billionaires. And yes, you're right. Blackmail operations happen all
mob
across the
bosses
world. I
make
think
money?
America, in terms
That's
of just
crazy.
how America's been seized, that's the only explanation for how Israel's able to expand with such a small population. And like,
That's the only explanation,
what?
guys. It's the only explanation. You heard it here. The only explanation for why Israel is friends with the U.S.? Jewish blackmail pedophile cabal rings. There's no other explanation. Yeah, dinosaurs, they're fake and gay. Why is Israel friends with the U.S.? Pedophile cabal rings, blackmail.
Like, somebody has to be fighting their wars. Somebody has to be funding them. We're funding them. So I think we've just...
They're also funding the terrorists, by the way, in case you've been looking at USAID.
Look, real quick about this whole Drewski and the stupid white women thing that's going on. For those of you who can see, this is the story that everyone's bringing up. Look, this is horribly racist. And I'll bring up the Drewski thing in a second because a lot of people are using that as an excuse for these people to be awful. Like, I understand making fun of the WNBA, sure, whatever. But these aren't even good costumes. They're just a bunch of obnoxious white girls who painted their bodies with shoe polish. No, like, especially that one. That one looked like she says mammy. Like, from the old shitty racist things from, like, the 30s. Like, this is ridiculous. Stuff like this, I can 100% see people getting canceled for. Now, let's go to what people are using as an excuse for it, okay? This is Dave Chappelle on a comedy show. These are comedians. These are random white bitches. These are comedians, random whites. Comedians. And not only this, look, Chappelle is extreme and ridiculous for a reason. Just like most black people don't look like this, like shoe polish, most white people don't look like this, except for Mr. Nuxtaku here and me. This is not racist. This is comedy. This is satire. And this, I didn't even know this was a black dude until someone had to tell me. This person put a lot of work into this facade. Not only the look of it is insane. I thought this was Buck Angel when I first saw this. I was like, that's definitely a lesbian. But no, I really thought it was a woman pretending to be a dude, but it was one step further. It was just a heavyset black dude pretending to be a southern caricature of a white guy for a comedy bit. We have to be able to, on both sides, and this is one thing I can say on both sides, for the love of God, have a sense of humor about yourself. White people, this is hilarious. And most of the stuff he said was pretty funny. Some of it was crass and like redneck stereotypes or whatever. Not all white people are like this, sure. But this is funny and it's really well done. Look at this. Look at that. He even painted on fake, what's it called? Farmer's tan? He even like did his nipples and fake tattoos. This is very well done. The guy put a lot of effort into this. Clearly the look was, was a certain look, and I know people who look like this. Can we stop? Can we just stop? Don't take yourself so seriously and stop giving excuses for, again, let's find it. Shitty, snooty, probably overprivileged white chicks. And is this her? Is this her? This is at least one of them. Okay. This is retarded. How is this even an argument? Like, these are very clearly racist blackface caricatures of old, like, what are they, minstrel shows or whatever the fuck they were called? The ones where they painted their lips white. Like, come on. Why is this even a conversation? Anyway, continuing on with the Candace Bowens.
Payments. They've been funding Hamas, too.
Come like the piggy bank to them.
But but if that's the case, what is the cross relationship? Because
am I having a stroke?
I think the
yes,
Middle
I
East
smell
is
toast.
historically a place that's not super chill, So that's
yeah, something like that.
probably what a lot of people would say is like, oh, well, you need an ally there, right?
Which is so stupid. I hate when people just say stuff. Like, one of my things.
The Middle East, literally, you have terrorist organizations that say death to America, so it makes sense to have an ally there. Which kind of makes sense, yeah. Kind of makes sense to have an ally in the place, literally, of millions of people that say death to America. And she's like, I hate when people just say stuff. Anyway, dinosaurs are fake and gay.
I mean, it's a strong theory, though.
It's a very, yeah.
It's not. It's just.
And she says it's not. And does she debunk it? No, she doesn't debunk it. Blackmail, pedo ring.
Say things that are said all the time.
Right.
Why the hell do we have any business in the Middle East at all? Like, why?
Because missiles could fly across oceans, bitch.
Why are you just trying to tell me that, like, I need an ally? And, like,
sorry, and this is something else I have to People are being like, "Oh, is this natural for a funeral?" Pictures of Tucker Carlson laughing. Look, I don't like Tucker Carlson, but you have to have. This is why context matters for everything. A still image. I mean, maybe they were telling fun stories about Charlie or someone was saying something funny, because that's what some people do in their speeches, especially if there's any kind of funny people, comedians there. What the hell are we doing? There will never be peace between the two sides. And then I'm just like, were they telling fun stories about Charlie, or was he just drunk? Like, who the fuck knows? Now I have to watch this god-awful thing that I don't want to watch. I hate funerals. I'm sure someone will play Amazing Grace, and then it'll make me really, really upset for the next couple days, because I don't like funerals. And I've been really trying not to watch any of it.
I
Sorry.
actually don't.
She doesn't remember 9/11. She doesn't remember 9/11. She was maybe too young when that happened. That was crazy. What are you talking about? All the terrorists that are focusing on Israel right now, their next target is the U.S. They all say death to Israel, death to America. Oh my God! She said Israel's expanding. They're not conquering countries either. She is so locked into these unbelievable. Shit.
Israel's not expanding.
Insane. But anyway, again, this was literally.
They keep
2
conceding
days ago on
territory.
Theo
They're not
Von's
expanding.
podcast, one of
They're
the
not
biggest
trying to
podcasts
expand.
in
They're
the
not
world.
looking to
And you
expand.
can keep going with this shit. See, she blames
If
everything.
they are,
on
I'll
Jews.
eat my words.
This is one
But
of my
they're not.
favorite things that she blames on
So
Jews.
can we just stop?
See, and here she discusses the religion Frankism, which no one ever heard of. And she discusses how it was started by a Jew and it's secretly controlling the world, and that's how the Jews control the world.
His name was Jacob Frank, okay?
Right.
That is what you are going to look up. His name is
All
Jacob
right.
Frank. Now, his birth name was actually Jacob Ben Leibowitz.
Oh.
And he
Ooh.
was born in modern Ukraine.
Ooh.
You'll find that a lot of these Frankists, because that's what they are, that's what they
Jewish.
call themselves, are out of modern Ukraine. Before him, there was
All
a
right.
man named
Here I was thinking
we call it
Frankenstein.
Sabbatianism. You can look all of this up. And on my locals page, I will
right.
provide you direct links so you can learn all of this, so that you know which links you need to read, what books you need to buy to learn the fact, an established fact,
Right.
that these pedophiles are in power. What we are very
The pedophiles are in power because
No, they were in the last couple of interviews with you, Miss Owens.
Jacob Frank, okay? Jacob Frank, some random fucking Jew in the 1700s who claimed to be a reincarnation of Shabtai Tzvi, that's his Hebrew pronunciation, a guy who, by the way, every single Jew remembers him as a bad guy. Okay, he claimed he was a false messiah that a lot of people were like, tried to get a lot of people to follow him. All right, this is a bad dude that all Jews condemn. All right, for literally acting like a false messiah. All right, now this Jacob Frank guy, some retard who no one ever heard of, claims he was a reincarnation of that guy. Started Frankism, his own little religion. It died off. No one ever heard of this shit anymore.
I've never
but
heard of
according
this,
to
and
her,
I've studied
it's a secret
religion,
cult that
like a
controls
lot.
the world, and all the pedophiles that are in power are because of this one random fucking Jew.
referring to is a religion that is known as Frankism, which became the Thelema religion. It is the preferred religion of the elites. Okay.
It is not. She's making this up. Frankism is not the preferred religion of literally anyone.
No,
there are no Frankists. This isn't a real thing.
They believe and they worship the devil. They believe that through deception they will inherit the earth. Frankists went down to France and they
What the hell?
went to overthrow it in a revolution.
Right.
That they would inherit the earth through deception, through deceptive means, and a ton of sexual rituals along the way, which they believed gave
rituals.
them power. The Frankists were
course.
behind the French Revolution. The
I mean, that's
Frankists
where I get
were
my
behind the
power
Russian
from.
Revolution. Okay, it was the Frank.
Were they? Were they? I don't know. Let's ask the AI. Maybe the AI will tell us, unless the AI is secretly controlled by Jews also. All right. Were the Frankists behind the Russian Revolution? Maybe I'll be shocked. Maybe they were behind the Russian Revolution. Nope, there is no historical evidence to suggest that the Frankists, these fuckers in the 18th century, actually founded it. All right. Well, anyway, turns out she was wrong. No evidence. Anyway, moving on.
All right. I'm gonna stop this one right here. I'm gonna jump over to the origin of Candace Owens in the public eye. We're gonna go all the way back to
Hey, how you doing, guys? You doing good? Never mind. I don't.
Almost
I don't
10
care
years
how you're
ago.
doing. I don't care how your feelings are. What do you
It's a
think?
Chris
this is Full
Reagan
House?
video.
No, you don't think this is Full House? Good. 'Cause
And I'm gonna start doing weekend things also, where I go back and pull out things that have brought me over from the dark side. Pull up old Shoe on Head, Armored Skeptic, Chris Reagan videos that I can find that are still online.
not Full House. Today we're going to be talking about a Kickstarter for a brand new site called socialautopsy.com. So just so you know what this site is, it's essentially a database for offensive people. If I don't like something cunty dickless said on Twitter or Facebook, I can make a profile for Cunty Dickless and post all of his offensive posts there, so that anybody who looks him up in the future will see all of his offensive posts and only those offensive posts. So as ridiculous as that idea is, we've got the premise out of the way. So with all that out of the way, let's watch the amazing video these fine folks have provided with us on their Kickstarter page. Wave goodbye to cyberbullies and trolls. Oh fuck! Don't text me right now. I'm in the middle of.
The human race has never been more connected. It takes a nanosecond, a mere push of a button, to share our ideas, opinions, and emotions across the world instantly. But for every cat meme your best friend tweets at you, or for every "I miss you" comment your grandma leaves on your Facebook wall, there are literally thousands of instances of hate speech being circulated online. Because when
Hate speech? But Candace Owens hates hate speech, doesn't she?
communication happens through a screen, and when moments are experienced through a lens, a terrifying extraction takes place. The age of technology and social media has slowly disintegrated individual accountability.
Now, before we get to the next point here, I actually do agree with the thesis here. The internet has led to a lack of accountability. That much is absolutely true. We see this in swattings and doxings. Like nobody would do those things if they thought.
But social autopsy would have only increased swattings and doxings.
Internet anonymity wouldn't keep them safe. The problem is, this site is only going to make it easier for those people who do SWAT and who do dox to get vital information about people they don't like.
Again, this is almost 10 years ago.
You think you're creating a tool to end these kinds of things, but in reality, you're just making it easier.
And this was hated by the left and the right, mind you. Not all of each. Some people on the left were for this, but most people on the left and pretty much all the right at the time hated the whole notion of this. And she was forced to go into hiding for a little bit, regather herself, and then rebrand herself as a conservative.
Even if my profile was somehow on there, if yours was too, I could still SWAT you. Because calling the SWAT team on a particular person has nothing to do with my social media profile.
Yeah.
I could still SWAT you and get away with it even if this site exists. This is exactly what I meant in my defining the regressive left video when I said the initial concern is something that we can all mostly agree on. Yes, internet anonymity can manifest itself in dangerous ways, but it's the solutions to these issues that divide actual liberals and the regressive left. Anyway, let's keep going, because it's great.
The consequences of which are devastating.
Oh my god, that bit's probably my favorite because they posted a news article that apparently claimed Christian Weston Chandler, most popularly known on the internet as Chris Chan, killed himself by hanging himself with a PlayStation 3 cord. Now, I can find absolutely no confirmation of this anywhere online, and I can assure you if Chris Chan was actually dead, I would have found something on it by now. It literally looks like they posted a falsified suicide story about an internet phenomenon on their Kickstarter video without even attempting to fact check it. I can't. Oh, this is
Matter of
so
fact,
great.
let me see if Chris Chan. I'm pretty sure Chris Chan is still alive.
The sixth grader committed suicide last week. Authorities say she suffered nearly a year of cyberbullying.
Two girls charged with using Facebook to taunt and bully their 12-year-old schoolmate until she killed herself.
They say weeks of constant bullying cost him his life.
I don't know, guys. Maybe it's because I spent most of my junior high school life
Chris
being
Chan is
bullied
still
in
very
real
much
life,
alive.
like to my face. But I just don't get the cyberbullying thing. Now I understand.
Which goes to show you that Candace Owens has a few hits and a whole lot of misses, and she's not good at researching anything, and thinks that if she puts something there, nobody will research any of it.
When it's people posting compromising photos of you without your consent, or like trying to get you fired, or like posting your private information on like an anonymous message board, I get that stuff. That would stress me out like a university student in an unsafe space. But this general name calling, I just don't get. Because when I was 12, I mean, I started YouTube when I was 12, and I got hate comments and stuff like that. But it was never nearly as bad as actually being bullied by dicks in real life. That's not to say these aren't tragic stories. They are. But I mean, what's your proposal to fix it? Legally, like just make it legal and easy for people to dox people? Come on.
We are fostering a society of online bullying, social tormenting, and irresponsible sharing. With the ability to privatize social
Thoughts and
profiles
prayers for
and use
Tom
pseudonyms
Holland.
in
He
place of
apparently
real
suffered
names,
a
it has
concussion.
been a free-for-all.
Excuse me?
Was rushed to the hospital.
Privatizing accounts and pseudonyms actually help protect people from this so-called free-for-all. If you're a teenage girl or boy, you have a pseudonym and protected profile so you can say what you want and not get harassed in real life for your opinions or your thoughts.
Sorry, real quick. Angelina Jolie, not the one to talk about things being unrecognizable. Remember her in the 90s? Anyway, continuing.
The very things you're complaining about are the very provisions that are in place to help protect against them. It's a sword. You can protect yourself with it, but you can also attack people with it. That's
Yes.
what anonymity is. It is a weapon as much as it is a defense. Why would you want these children's profiles to be open to even more people than they already were? The lunatics are running the asylum. What is happening?
That is until now.
Hey guys, my name is Candace Owens and I am the founder of socialautopsy.com.
Hello, Candace. My name is Chris. I'm gonna dismantle your poorly thought out website.
The first
Yay.
ever search database that aggregates people's social behavior and creates real profiles for them.
Oh, brilliant. This can't possibly be misused.
My team and I
No,
came
not at all.
together because we all grew up during this generation of the huge technology boom, and we understand the harm that social media like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter has allowed for, which is essentially a dehumanization. How can we bring it back to the
Not a
don't have anything
dehumanization.
nice to say, don't say it at all, or the old school say it to my face mentality online? Our answer was simple: through accountability. So what we do is we attach their words to their places of employment.
Wow, even more brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't affect me. My name is out there, my opinions are out there. I probably couldn't get a real job if I wanted to at this point anyway. But imagine somebody posting faked social media posts to try to get people fired using this platform. I mean, faking profile posts is super easy, and you don't
Yeah.
even need Photoshop to do it. You can just inspect Element on Google Chrome, and you've got what Social Autopsy would consider damning evidence that you're a terrible person. This is, man, this is such a bad idea.
Yeah.
Anybody in the entire world can search for them. What we are doing
I
is
even know how to do
figuratively
that, and
lifting
I
masks
am a
up,
chimp.
So nobody can hide behind, Twitter handles or privatized profiles.
But again, these things are in place to protect against the kinds of bullying tactics that you are apparently trying to get rid of. How do you not see this? How do you not see this? Are you blind? Are you guys blind? Oh, no. It's, ooh, boy.
No, she's just a
I forgot,
grifter.
That's ableist language. I can't say blind. What do I say instead? Like sightless? I don't fucking know.
It's all real and it's all researchable. You can still say whatever you want to say on social media, but you have to be willing to stand by your words. We are asking for your donations so that you guys can help us expand this database. What we want to do is clean up the internet so that we can make it a safer place for the individuals that are coming up in generations beneath us.
So that's the video they have on their Kickstarter, but they actually have an alternate version that actually goes through the process of how this nonsense works. And it's, it is baffling.
A free-for-all. That is until now. Introducing Social Autopsy, the first ever search database that compiles and allows the public to easily access the digital footprint of individuals and companies. Our team has crawled through the public interfaces
What is this
of
music?
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, creating real profiles for the individuals that lob hate speech over the web. These individuals are your teachers, doctors, neighbors, and business owners, and for the first time ever, you'll be given the chance to run a real background check on them to see what these people represent behind closed doors.
Why you gotta do this in Manhattan? Why you gotta be in Manhattan? Why can't you guys go to San Francisco or something where you fit in? Don't be doing this in my city, you jackasses.
Let me show you how it works. Plug in the name of any person, company, or organization. Our database will return any number of profile hits, which can then be narrowed down by city and state.
Wow, so it narrows down by city and state. I can't imagine how this tool could possibly be misused by swatters and doxers. I can't even possibly imagine how this could possibly backfire in any conceivable way.
When you've located a user, you'll be brought to their autopsy report, which will consist of real screenshots of words that they have shared across social media platforms. Want to keep up to date to see if a particular profile
Oh yeah,
has
because that's
been added
definitely
to?
Hermione.
You can choose to follow an individual or company autopsy report privately to receive automatic email notifications when there has been any movement to that particular profile. Have someone that you'd like to add to our morgue? Have someone that you'd like
To our morgue. I mean, that's literally what it could lead to.
This is so.
That's
This
the
is
worst branding. Yeah.
I've ever seen for anything. This is like if I made a website called deadbabies.com where you could add people based on what states of fetus they are in relation to their age. When phrases like autopsy reports and morgue are clever names for subsections of your site, you've really got to reevaluate your marketing strategy. You just add to the morgue. I can't even. This is so oddly demented.
Submit them. Our database is continually grown by anonymous submissions from individuals like you. Anonymous submissions.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You
Anonymity
fucking idiot.
for a
You want
doxing
to
site.
get rid of internet anonymity by building a platform where people can post people's private information anonymously. Guys, I genuinely can't believe what I'm hearing. Is this a joke? Is this Poe's Law in action? If I didn't already know for sure that this was a real thing, I would assume this was a joke. Just wow. And what was she saying earlier?
Life has
in this
been
video?
beyond parody
Say
for
it
like
to my face
10 months.
mentality.
Anonymous submissions.
Say it to my face.
Anonymous submissions.
I give up. There is no hope for me. I've got to be free.
I miss this dude's videos.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what the bit is here.
Because why engage in an online back-forth argument with friends over insulting
Oh, look at that.
statuses
Kanye
and
West.
comments
Imagine.
when you can instead screenshot their harsh words and privately submit them to our database. Our team will review each and every submission and make it live if it meets our guidelines for harmful speech.
Okay, that's all well and good, but what are your guidelines, though? Like, what are your
conservative,
guidelines? Because to
quote-unquote,
some people,
Candace
criticism
Owens.
is harassment, and simply disagreeing is hate speech. This is Orwellian, but I mean, it's not going to work. This site is going to be
And it didn't work.
destroyed by internet trolls. It doesn't stand a chance, so I'm not worried
And
about
it was.
I'm more worried that a bunch of people actually thought this was even a good idea in the first place.
Simply put, social autopsy is your digital footprint, so be mindful of the words that you share.
What the fuck you talking about? You can't tell me what to do. Shit. Video's over.
All right. Like I said, that social autopsy, that's where Candace Owens got her start. That's where she was first in the public eye. And then after this, like I said, this is almost 10 years ago. So this is like 2016. She did this, sees Trump, sees the Trump thing building up, and then she latches onto that for a bit. And then now she's part of the so-called woke right movement that's been kind of spinning its wheels. It's got a few key players in it, mostly lunatics that the right disavowed. And Candace, I'll say this, Candace Owens is too extreme, even for Nick Fuentes, the guy who is, I think he's the source of the Groypers that we've only recently heard about. So, but yeah, anyway, that's it for me today, guys. I really appreciate this. We're gonna finish the Nux video for Candace probably tomorrow. It depends on what kind of news we get today. If there's anything that happens today, we'll jump into the news. But if not, then we'll finish the Candace content nuke. And who knows, we might start another. But for now, I am Alfie Animus. This is the Associated Guests here at Bear in Mind. I appreciate you for stopping by. And remember, just take care of yourselves out there.